This is part A of the question number 1 from the year 2000 AP test, the free response questions. In this question we're asked to complete the method limit amplitude, which is intended to cap at both a positive and negative value. Imagine like a sine wave going across, or like whatever, something that varies up and down, and you want to chop off the high points as well as the low points, so at the negative limit. That's what we're told in the instructions. We're also told in the instructions that we need to count how many changes we make, so that's why I have this counter variable set up. And then we have this integer array called samples, which represents in some way the amplitude of these sounds. Alright, so the first thing that we need to do in all these array problems is we have to set up a loop to look at each item in the array. So for int I equals 0, I is less than samples.length, the length of the array. Remember that the last index is 1 less than the length, so that always works. And then I++. Then we want to say we have to do some if checks here. We have to test if it's above the maximum value or below the minimum, or below the negative limit. So we say if samples at I is greater than limit, we want to do two things. We want to limit the value, samples at I equals limit, and we also want to increment count because we want to keep track of how many times we've made a change. Then we can say else if samples, we have to do for the check the negative limit, or the negative side, else if samples at I is less than the negative limit, we want to do the same two things. Samples at I equals the negative limit, and we want to increment the count because we have made a change in amplitude. And that is how to do, and obviously at the end we're already returning count. We set it up beforehand. And that is how to do question 1 from the 2011 AP, so the part A of that question.